to. This motion be agreed to. I call the member for McEwen.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I support this motion by the member for Chisholm. As we reflect on the centenary of Anzac, we also remember the first conflict Australian people partook in, the Boer War, which occurred in South Africa between 1899 and 1902. The electorate of McEwen contains the township of Seymour, which has a long military history, with links back to the Boer War. One of Seymour's crowning glories in its rich military heritage, the town contains sites like the Vietnam Veterans Commemorative Walk and the Australian Light Horse Memorial Park. Seymour has been a site for military training since the late 1800s. During the Boer War, Australians served mostly in mounted units formed in each colony before being dispatched to South Africa. In Victoria, Seymour was one of the sites used for military training. Mounted troops who trained on the hills and the plains around Seymour saw action against the Boer guerrillas. These mounted troops were independent thinking, country-bred, and their stock horses were particularly suited to the unconventional warfare being fought in South Africa. More than 23,000 Australians served in South Africa and 1,000 never returned home. The Boer War saw 6 Victorian Crosses awarded to Australians for valour. Another 161 individual bravery awards were made to Australian soldiers during the conflict. More than 43,000 horses were also sent across the Indian Ocean, but only one returned. The sacrifices made by Australians during this conflict are only surpassed by World War I and World War II. Australia's contribution during the Boer War was very significant. The war was the first in which Australia fought as a nation, but is the only major war not already commemorated on Anzac Parade, Canberra. It's very hard to believe that there is no national memorial to Australia's first conflict. The National Boer War Memorial Association for many years have been working to rectify this situation. They have diligently been advocating for proper national recognition. Back in 2008, a memorial site was allocated on Anzac Parade. The memorial will be built alongside 11 other memorials, which include memorials to World War I, World War II, Korea and Vietnam. The memorial will commemorate the 1,000 Australians who made the supreme sacrifice in South Africa. In 2012, the Chief of Defence, General David Hurley, unveiled the design for the National Boer War Memorial. The memorial will feature a life-size section of 4 mounted troopers galloping through the bush of wide open rural landscape. According to Keith Smith, the spokesperson for the National Boer War Memorial Association, the memorial recognises that all Australian troops in the Boer War were mounted or depended on horses to tow their ambulances, artillery and supply wagons. To match the highly mobile Boer soldiers, it recalls their endurance and sacrifice cast in enduring bronze. Work has already begun on sculpting the 4 bronze statues of Australian mounted troops in action, but without further government and private funding, the memorial will not be ready for next year when Australia commemorates the year of the Anzac and our proud military history. Projects of this scale need a lot of support, not only from the government, but from the community. The National Boer War Memorial Fund needs to raise an estimated $3.2 million to complete the memorial. I can only hope we will see support for this worthy project from the Abbott government. Recently, due to the Abbott government budget cuts, the National War Memorial was advised that $800,000 a year funding for its travelling exhibition program would be cut forthwith, losing funding for what had been a 17-year tradition of travelling exhibitions from the Australian War Memorial. I hope that the Abbott government takes note of the national support given to this very worthy project by successive governments and lends its support to seeing a national place of reflection come to fruition to honour the memories of those who were the first to sacrifice so much for this great nation.